Have you ever wondered, what do influencers actually influence? You know these accounts that you see on Instagram where they have like hundreds of thousands of followers or even millions of followers, and you just look at their content and just think, what are you exactly influencing people to do? There are so many social media pages like this where it's really not obvious as to what exactly this person is influencing. So if you were to like speak to a normie and ask them what an influencer is, they'll typically say something like, oh, this person functionally mind controls people to do things and say things and think like they do, right? And I don't agree with this at all. I don't think that's how it works in the slightest. Like, if some guy from Love Island tells you to buy some product, are you gonna give a shit? Why? Like, who cares? They don't have any authority in the topic of whatever that product is in. I don't think influencers have nearly as much power as people think they do, nor do they have as much economic power as people think they do. So I was running a business and I decided to give influencer marketing a shot. I went to one of these LA influencer guys that had hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, and I bought some sponsored content from them, right? And I didn't even get one sale from this guy posting our products. Not fucking one. So what was the point of that? Like, what was the point of spending that kind of money? And does this person have anyone that gives a shit about them anyway, right? Like, you'd think just by looking at the numbers, like, oh yeah, this guy's like a big fucking deal, right? You know, this guy's in the LA influencer scene. Like, ooh, this guy's a tastemaker. No, he's fucking not. Again, this has not been the experience that, I've encountered dealing with these guys. And it's just like, it's kind of like a joke on me. Like, I guess I was kind of blue-pilled in that scenario for giving, a freak like that some money. But yeah, that's how it went. And I think like a lot of people kind of have a big misconception with just how much power influencers have. Like, I don't think influencers really live up to their name. I think they make content specifically for people that already have a similar worldview and opinions that they do. And they can marginally change things on the edges, but that's about it. And this is assuming this person has anything interesting to say to begin with. There's loads of lip syncing channels. There's loads of thirst trap accounts on Instagram where it's just basically a neutered version of corn. There's just so much content that doesn't really have anything interesting to say or nothing of any like value to contribute. But even with like the more like highbrow content, I guess you could say, or more high concept content, I don't even think they have much influence outside of their specific bubble of their audience. Like, take for example Valsh. You could force me to watch hundreds of hours of Valsh content and stream clips, and I don't think I'd change my mind about anything. Like, I don't think I'd ever, come to the conclusion that, oh, actually economic freedom is bad. Actually, freedom of speech is bad. Like, I don't think I'd ever come to that conclusion, even though that's what he's trying to influence, right? That's the worldview that he's trying to communicate, right? It goes the other way as well, right? Like, if you get like some centrist normie guy and you force them to watch my content, I don't think that they're going to get influenced by it. Like, I don't think they're going to give a shit what I have to say, right? So I think this kind of reveals something interesting, which is that influencers don't influence like their name would suggest. They just kind of play the tunes that their audience wants to see, right? I think influencers and their audience have an opposite relationship to what most people think it is. I think any given audience online already has made their mind up with what worldview they will have. And then they seek content and content creators that are going to make content that kind of fulfills their expectations. So if an influencer is making content that doesn't really resonate with the audience that found their content, they're just going to go somewhere else that will confirm their worldview, their pre-existing worldview. Like, if you were destined to be a Valsh subscriber and you get recommended one of my videos, I don't think you'd stay on my channel for long. I think you'd move along. You'd kind of quickly get, this doesn't really appeal to me, right? So again, what do influencers actually influence? I think most influencers are kind of just like, they're kind of just performers. They're like bards. they say stuff that people are already thinking, but maybe haven't like verbalized, right? Thoughts and feelings and suspicions about the world. If you hear someone else verbalize this and articulate this, it's actually pretty enjoyable, right? But if you don't agree with the influencer to begin with, and you have an opposing worldview to the guy that you're watching, you're not going to stick around. You're just going to click off the video or stream or whatever, right? So I think that's that. Another thing with influencers is the misunderstanding of vanity metrics. I don't know if you've noticed, but on YouTube, there's like quite a few channels that have huge amounts of subscribers. Like they'll have like hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers. And yet some of them unironically get less views on their video than my channel, which is at like 14K subscribers right now. And this isn't really that out of the ordinary. There are channels with smaller subscriber counts that get more views than me. And there's loads of dead husk channels that are kind of in like a zombified state where they have, huge inflated subscriber counts, but the amount of people that actually watch their content is pretty fucking low. And I think this kind of causes a lot of confusion where your follower count, your subscriber counts, whatever you want to call it, I think it's just a bit of a vanity metric. It doesn't really represent what people think it represents a lot of the time. And I guess you'd be forgiven for not really understanding this because it's not very intuitive, right? Like it's hard to communicate to someone that isn't really in this I guess industry / business, but a channel that has 50K subscribers but gets 50K views of video is larger than a channel with 1 million subscribers and gets 10K views of video. It's hard to communicate why that is the case because the subscriber count is just something that, it kind of just, bamboozles people. And I think it bamboozles people that aren't chronically online. People that run marketing agencies that have a advertising budget will typically allocate a lot of their marketing budget to getting people with the biggest vanity metric. The follower / subscriber metric is something they look at first and foremost, right? And I think many of advertising agencies have just been totally hustled into, paying way too much to basically get sponsored content on someone's page that just has like a lot of followers or subscribers, right? Without realizing that these people don't really have much influence to begin with. Who the fuck cares what some contestant on Love Island has to post in his Instagram story? Like, who gives a shit? So in that way, I think a lot of advertising agencies are just getting bamboozled by this and just wasting their money giving influencers money when they don't actually influence anything. The only real exception I can think of where influencer marketing, I guess, can have some, effectiveness is if the influencer makes content in that specific, I guess, niche of content, right? So like if someone's like a car reviewer and like they get a sponsor from like a car to like, like a mid-roll talking about a new car that's coming up, like that could work, that actually makes fucking sense. But just getting a influencer to market some product, I think it's just a illusory industry. Like this doesn't fucking work. Like why would I give a shit what some contestant on Love Island has to say about any product, or what some LA vlogger has to say, or some lip syncer, or someone that makes cat videos that has 1 million followers? It's like, who cares? Like nobody's buying stuff just because they put like, a post on their Instagram. Who gives a shit? They don't have any relevance to anything. Maybe if it's in the niche that they're in, like it's more specific, it's more targeted, maybe that might work for their audience. But I think in many cases, like the concept of an influencer is just way too overvalued in society. Like I don't think they have the power that normies think they have.